Hi everyone, welcome and thanks for tuning in. I'm actually very nervous to do this because this is like my first speaking event since I was, I think, 14 when I competed in a declamation contest in school, and that's like ages ago. Anyway, so my name is Mystqx Skye and I'm from an Asian descent. I actually grew up in the Philippines till I was about 20, and then I lived and moved in different countries after that. I spent a great deal of my career life working in the tourism industry. It's one of those occupations where you deal a lot with foreign person, foreign things, cross border rules, and all that. So, on my travels, I experienced a lot of labeling and stereotyping. Well, I didn't really bother explaining myself at first because I just chucked it in as they're misinformed rather than malice. But you see, little did I know that this is actually something that could make me explode. I pride myself as having a good EQ, emotional quotient. So I thought as long as this insults or prejudgments does not harm me, it doesn't really matter. But you see, it's like cancer. It's like a disease. It starts with little things and then it accumulates. And by the time you know it, you are just very sick in mind and in body. So here I am. I thought to share my stories and use this platform as some sort of therapy. I'm kidding. So yeah, one of my travels. Once in the train, I was traveling with my niece and somewhere in Europe, and we were talking in our native language. Then suddenly, this man approached us, cursing us in his native language, telling us how uneducated and loud we are. Probably he got mad because he can't understand us, or he was having a bad mood that day, or he's having an episode of being, yeah, that word that you're thinking, probably that. Anyway, I don't think I can be that loud. I have like a bedroom kind of voice, right? So I thought that was below the belt when he said uneducated. So I got really so mad. I stood up. You see, I am small. I am really small, legally speaking, that I need a car seat to drive. That small. So I stood up and then I got shocked. He is like big, really big. He looks like he can carry me like a sack of rice in his shoulders, that big. But anyway, I forgot all that and I just got so angry. I cursed back. I swore back using his language. Fortunately, he just walked away. And fortunately, he walked away without me on his shoulders. Okay, another example. I was somewhere in a ski resort and sun exposure in those areas are really very high. You can't feel it because of the cold wind, but it is. So I made sure to put sunblock before I went down to meet the group. So while I was waiting at the hotel lobby, one of the group members approached me and said, "You probably don't need sunblock, right? You're lucky to have brown skin." And I was just dumbfounded. I don't know what to make of her statement. Is she playing stupid or is she praising my brown skin for I don't know, like a UV repellent kind of thing. Anyway, probably one of the worst things to brush off is whenever people think I am here because I want to escape my country and be well off by saying it lightly, like this. Oh, you live here, so you must be happy now. It seems not offensive at first, but honestly, I feel insulted. I feel like my whole life before living here is insulted. My love for my family, my friends, my dreams, my country, my achievements, my happy memories, all are insulted. Like nothing is beautiful in my life before. Just because people assume. Anyway, I got really fed up when I saw it happen to my own kids. I have two wonderful biracial kids, and somebody called them a color. That brown kid over there, someone said. At first, I jokingly thought, should I be thankful that they are not called a dish instead, like nasi goreng or paella? Anyway, they got the same comments on the sunblock, like they don't need as much as the white kids. So yeah, I'm like a ticking time bomb, and my kid is my safety pin which got pulled off. Because at that moment, I swore. I swore that this sickening attitude has just got to stop. Now, when I think about my book, my poetry book, Buried Beneath the Myriad Skies, it's actually the book that got nominated here in the Golden Door Awards. I think it is like a preparation to the explosion. I was pouring my heart and soul out there in that book, and I'm like feeling all trapped and drowning. And now on my second book, it's about going against the tide and freeing the mind. So I gave the title Educate Your Opinion, or AO. I know it's a pretty loaded title. It's a dictionary about debunking stereotypes and breaking the chains of labeling. So I thought it has to be a strong statement so it sticks to people's mind. Now, when I was researching for my book AO, I got a lot of questions like this. What is actually the act of labeling? Or how do we do it? Or how do I know I've done it? Or is there a good stereotype? Is judging stereotyping? Have you ever considered the xenophobic? Or what if I label someone positively? Is it still considered bad? So, to answer those questions, let me show you a survey that I did and tell me what you think or what you feel when you are asked in that manner. You see, there are two columns and each question are asked in a different manner. A or B, which is derogatory. Now, most people think A is offensive and B is just okay. Some thinks there's no difference. And some prefers not to be asked at all. So it's a cocktail mix of response from people from all walks of life. Now, what I learned from the answers are two things. First, no matter how you formulate the question, people can perceive it in differently based on language, culture, tradition, belief, personal background, experiences. There are so many factors. And the most important thing I learned is to ask, may I ask you? May I ask you is the most polite approach, as voted as many people say. I think it's very evident what detrimental effects labeling and stereotyping do to people. It's all over the news, like every day it's there. And here are still some. So the most important question actually here is, how do we educate our opinion? The only person we have control over is ourselves. So we could tell our dear selves to stop. STAP. And I mean STAP, stop. So S is for stop talking. When you see someone and suddenly you feel like you've been possessed by Picasso as you paint images in your head, stop. I love this picture here. Look at it closely. It's like Mona Lisa. You never really know if he's smiling or not. So when you look at the person as an individual, you look at their facial expression, the mood, or how he acts, it steers you to start seeing the person beyond your first impressions and beyond those preconceived notions. T is for think before you ask. I know it is difficult to purify our thoughts, but to cushion the blow of our own bias, we could actually compensate by filtering what to say. And A is for ask, like I mentioned before, the one that garnered the most vote is to ask, may I ask? Now, P is for pay attention. And this is also very important. Our brain is wired to draw conclusions. It's very natural. So we tend to label to identify. But when we label people, it gets in the way of getting to know that person or that person's reality and true nature. So pay attention to their answer. And when you listen with an open mind and not listen to judge or draw conclusions. When we label people, we are actually in conflict. And when we are in conflict, it is so difficult to practice values such as respect, empathy, acceptance, forgiveness. Some people stop till respect, and some people stop till empathy. But until we learn to accept that we are all unique, that being different is not wrong, that their truth might not be the same as ours, but it's okay. That what we think, what we assume is probably not their truth or their true nature. This cycle is just going to continue, and this negative chain is not going to break. Now, this is not about to sanctify me or sanctify anyone. I am not here to cleanse my hands, and I also feel guilty and in self-doubt most of the time. I fall into the habit of stereotyping and labeling too. So I wrote AO to remind myself to stop SAP. Because I realized if I want this negative chain to break, I really have to start from me with whatever I can. I actually did a lot of thinking on what I should do if I fall victim to labeling and stereotyping again. I haven't put this to test yet, but I will do it. I promise you I will. Next time I feel labeled or stereotyped, I'm gonna make a conscious effort to say, Ayo, could you please educate your opinion? Or I could probably try to say, could you please stop? Stop talking and think first before you ask and then pay attention. I know this is not easy. It's not easy to confront others, especially at the heat of the moment, and stand up for oneself, for your own belief. But with practice, our small actions of doing something against it will create ripple of positive changes. I would love to hear your stories too. Next time it happens to you, how will you handle it? Are you gonna be in denial, keep assuming, ignore, educate? What choices will you make?